Bios. Man, how you know about that? This is Google, man. Who told you about bios? Okay, no. Okay, my bad. I nerd out, homie. I was a little nerdy too when I was younger. All right, we just missing a couple answers. Make sure you get your answers in. We're at 75%. Let's move on with the video.
The digestive system is so fundamental that it's basically step number one in the guide to how to make an animal. You probably remember that during the embryonic development of most animals, the digestive tract is the very first thing that forms. When the blastula, that little wad of cells that we all used to be, turns into a little wad of cells with a tube running through it, that tube is your digestive system. And pretty much every animal has a digestive system of some kind, but they're not all alike. Far from it. In fact, digestive tracts are specially adapted to animals' feeding behavior and diet. For instance, a housefly eats mostly liquid or very finely granulated food, but before it does that, it's got to puke its digestive juices all over its lunch and then let them digest it for a while before it sucks it up into its mouth. If we did it like that, first dates would be less common. Most vertebrates.
All right, I just want to stop there real quick. That's why it's important when you're outside or you're eating your food and you have to step away from it. That's why it's important to cover it because the flies land on it and they especially that digestive juice on your food and they wait for it to, you know what I'm saying, start to deteriorate before they serve it up. So that's why you don't want flies flying on your food.
Vertebrates put food in one end of the tube and our digestive system processes it, and then it gets rid of the waste out the other end of the tube. No muss, no fuss. Well, actually, there's a little bit of muss at the end, you may have noticed. But the beauty of it is that this whole process is run by our autonomic nervous system, so we don't have to think about it until maybe the very last step when we're in traffic and just had 2 cups of coffee and a bran muffin. Then we have to think about it a little bit. Among vertebrates, the digestive tract might be short or long or have organs that do different things depending on what its feeding habits are. For instance, dogs are mostly carnivores and also scavengers. They mostly eat meat, but sometimes that meat's been dead for a while. So the dog's digestive system has developed to take food in, absorb as many nutrients as possible, and then deposit it on somebody's lawn all in a period of about 6 hours. Dogs have an extremely short digestive tract because if you're in the habit of eating rotten meat, you better be able to digest it fast. If you don't, the bad bacteria that's probably living on that armadillo carcass is going to take up residence in your gut and put you in a world of hurt. Cows, on the other hand, take a very, very, very long time to digest their food, around 80 hours, because they have to process plants, mostly grass. Grass has a ton of cellulose in it, and evolution has yet to produce an animal that can manufacture a stomach acid or enzyme tough enough to break down cellulose. So cows have microorganisms in their guts that break down the cellulose for them. This process takes a 4-chambered stomach, each one with a slightly different microecology, and a lot of cud chewing, or regurgitating and rechewing of grass, before it passes all the way through.
All right, so I want you to explain why dogs digest food quickly and why do cows digest food slowly. So I want you to think about how long the digestive system is, what they eat, and how many organs they have in the digestive system. Because you said something distinct about the cows. Digest. Okay. Good things in there. You said different type of food they eat. Dogs drink more water. But we don't know that. They didn't say for sure. His dog is definitely water than cow. So nobody spoke on, the length of the digestive system between the two animals. Does it have anything to do with their size? One small, one big. Handsome. Dry. Why would he say a dead animal would necessarily be dry? I don't know, it's a good answer. It looks sort of good, but we'll go ahead and share it with everybody real quick. But just to speak on it, remember he said the dog has a short digestive tract, so it digests food quickly and gets it out because it eats a lot of stuff that's really not good for it. So it eats the food, it soaks up as much nutrients as it can, and it gets it up out the system. But the cow, it's harder to break down grass, so it actually has four stomach chambers. So it has to go through all four stomach chambers, and then it has to be broken down. So it takes a real long time to break down grass and stuff. So that's sort of the difference between why the dog is so fast and the cow is so slow. All right, let's continue to move.
True. So nature is full of crazy digestion stories, and I honestly wish that I had time to tell them all. But let's focus on human digestion from now on, mostly because you're probably a human. We don't assume anything here, and you'll be wanting to know how your body does all this stuff. And two, humans actually have a pretty good all-purpose digestive system. We're omnivores after all. We eat plants and meat, so our systems are generalized to handle all kinds of stuff. Like most animals, humans have a bunch of different acids and enzymes in our digestive tracts that break down food so that it can be absorbed and used by our bodies. The secret to successful digestion is maximizing surface area, in more than one way, actually. The first way we maximize surface area is on the food itself. So say I take a bite out of this apple. Right now, it's like an apple boulder sitting there in my mouth. I got enzymes in my saliva that immediately start breaking it down, like the outsides of the boulder. As I swallow this chunk whole right now, not only would it hurt like heck, the rest of my digestive system would have a really hard time dealing with it because most of the enzymes and acids would have the same difficulty working all the way through this big solid hunk. But when I use my awesome teeth to chew up this hunk of apple, suddenly there's double, triple, quadruple the surface area on the food. I'm making up apple gravel from the apple boulder. Maybe even apple sand. For humans, chewing is key because breaking down our food into smaller and smaller bits allows enzymes and acids to get at them. And after our teeth have made the pieces small enough, the chemicals break them down further until they're fine enough for our bodies to absorb nutrients from.
All right, so according to the host, why is chewing important for digestion? I see somebody jump right on it. Circle's moving. Can we get a whole circle? There's 50%. That was you. That's what's up. Appreciate that. Shout out Malika, first person to answer the question. Still waiting on 33%. Can I get to 33? So I move on. Come on, Atlanta. EJ? Golly, come on, man. James? Hold on, leave me hang. All right, I see them dots filling in. Come on. DJ, I'm waiting on you.
From them. But it's not just the surface area of the food that's important. The surface area of the digestive